Hey, and welcome back to another video from my Vintage Tech Showcase playlist, the playlist of videos where I showcase older electronic devices, mainly phones and iPods, in a retro style review. And in this video, I have for you today the Nokia 8850 from around 1999 and 2000, around the late 1999 and 2000. In the form of the 8890. Now, what do I mean by that? This is the 8890, which is the US version of the 8850. It's exactly the same phone. The only difference being it has a few differences in the GSM bands. Apart from that, it's exactly the same. And throughout the past week, we were following this trend with a bunch of phones that I got in this part slot over, well, not a part slot, most of them worked. This lot of phones over here, I got all of these phones for like $60, about 8 or 9 phones. So you do the math, the price per phone, about $6 or $7. And the 8890 and 8850 usually go for in excess of $200 to $500. So I got this thing for essentially $7 or $8 with when you do the math. So yeah, that was a really good deal. Probably one of, if not the best deal I've got on this channel as of now, because this phone is really valuable. There aren't many of them around, especially in working condition, and especially with their antenna connected, because a lot of them lose their antenna after some time. This one still has its antenna, and it's in excellent condition. As you can see here, it just has a bunch of sticker residue over there, but everything else is in excellent condition. You can go ahead and watch that video. And we were following throughout this entire week with the 3390, which is the US version of the 3310. I did a few videos on this, you may have seen earlier. And most recently, we also did the 8210 in the form of the 8290. This is again the 8290, which is also the US version of the 8210. The 8290, essentially the same thing. The only differences is the GSM bands. I covered this in this video up here. You can go watch that later after watching this if you already haven't. And a fun fact, the 8210 or the 8290 is essentially the same phone as the 8850 or the 8890. The only difference is the 8850 is way more premium. It's got a few more features like the slider mechanism that can lock the phone and stuff, and it's built off a aluminum alloy of some sort. The buttons are more premium, they're much better. The phone is a bit more premium. Well, not a bit more premium, way more premium, because this thing cost way more. But essentially, they're the same phone. They have the physical volume buttons. They have the IR receiver / blaster. Essentially, they're the same phone on the inside. However, this is a more premium version. It was way more expensive, obviously, and it had a bit more features to match to that price. Anyway, before we jump right into this retro style review, don't forget to smash that like button down below, as it helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm on Instagram, Discord, and Twitter, and you can follow me on those using the links down in the description below. And now let's jump right into this retro style review of the Nokia 8850/8890. So firstly, let's have a quick go around of the phone and we'll turn it on first. Sometimes it doesn't like to turn on properly when this is open. It's probably just a small issue with this phone, considering its age. It's almost 21 years, well, it's 2022, so this thing is 23 to 22 years old. So yeah, let's power it on. It has a white backlight on the keys as well. I'll show you once it turns on. And you'll see there's no Nokia startup logo. Instead, you get VoiceStream, because this phone is on the VoiceStream wireless network, as well with all the other phones on that part slot that I showed you earlier. The VoiceStream logo has replaced the Nokia logo. It's the same on this one as well, and basically all those phones in that lot, if they're on the VoiceStream network, they don't have the Nokia logo. Instead, they have the VoiceStream logo. VoiceStream is essentially T-Mobile. Initially, T-Mobile was known as VoiceStream, but they changed their name later, well, I think early in the 2000s. So let's have a quick go around of the phone. Firstly, here up front we have the earpiece, the Nokia branding, and this metal or sort of plasticky, I don't know why, it's probably plastic, but it's really high quality plastic. If so, we have the antenna up here as well. Moving on to the buttons here, really premium buttons. I don't know if they're metal or plastic, they are plastic, but really high quality plastic buttons. They're not fading or anything, and we can slide the slider down. The slider is made out of aluminum, a alloy of some sort, and as you see, there's the white backlight over there as well, clearly visible, the white backlight. These buttons as well, they're really solid feeling, really premium feeling buttons. Really good. They feel really solid. I cannot convey to you over video exactly how solid these buttons feel. So obviously a premium phone, it's gotta have really good buttons. I'll put the pricing up here. I forgot the original pricing, if I do find the pricing for this phone, but this was really pricey back in the day. And we have the buttons over here, the slider mechanism, and that's all up front. On the side here, we have the slider mechanism, as you can see here, but everything else, there's nothing else on the side. Over here, we have the volume rockers. Again, really premium feeling volume rocker buttons, really responsive. They feel really nice. Let me show you. Oh, sometimes this thing freaks out. Okay, there we go. The slider like thing sometimes makes the phone freak out, so that may happen from time to time throughout this video, so bear with me there. That's just because of the age of the phone. But yeah, those are the volume buttons, and again, as you see, it has freaked out there. Okay, so we're back, and yeah, the slider really causes some problems for this phone. It's old, so we can expect that. So up here we have the volume rockers. Like I said, they feel really good, really premium. We have the IR blaster over here, which also exists on the 8210 or the 8290, and I'll demo this later. You can use this to play two-player Snake, so multiplayer Snake. I'll try and demo this later if I find a battery for this phone as well, and that's quite interesting. You can also connect it to a printer or an older PC and transfer files between, well, files as in contacts and business cards and stuff, and also you can get stuff printed out using this if you need be, like a message or an e-text, or, well, no e-text, but a message or something that you would need. It says so in the manual that you can connect this thing to a printer. But most importantly, you can just use it to change contacts between phones and business cards and play Snake, obviously. So we'll talk about the IR blaster / receiver later. So at the back here, we have the aluminum alloy back cover. Again, really solid metal, Nokia branding. The slider bottom here, as you can see, there are copper contacts. That's how the phone knows if it's open or closed. The sliders on the copper contacts. It freaks out sometimes, like I said, because it's old. At the top of the phone here, we have the lanyard strap over there. We have the power button as well, as you can see. They're really tiny power button. We also have the antenna that I mentioned earlier. These usually fall off, but this one actually still is there, so that's a big thumbs up, because a lot of these phones lose their antennas. The power button on the 8210 or 8290 is also small, just like this one. It's a different shape, but they're really small power buttons. In comparison, we have the Nokia 3310 or the 3390's power button over there. As you can see there, it's huge when compared to the 8890 or 8850 power button. So yeah, you can clearly see the difference between the power button sizes. So yeah, that was the top of the phone. I will close this. Okay, let's keep that closed for the rest of the video because it freaks out. At the bottom of the phone, we have the charging port. We have the old style barrel connector, the fatter one, so not the, I think 2007 beyond we used the thinner one. I forgot, but yeah, the fatter style charger. And we have the dock connector, and I have a dock for this. I'll show you the dock in a bit. And we have a what I believe is a 2.5 millimeter it's a 2.5 millimeter headphone jack, so you can get a pair of headphones and use it like that. So no 3.5 millimeter jack. So that was just a quick go around of the phone. And in terms of build quality, it's a really solidly built phone. This phone's main selling point was its solid build quality. It felt premium in the hand. It's one of the phones that actually showed the world that, hey, phones also could be built really well. They could be turned into a premium product, and that's what Nokia marketed this thing as a premium product for a basic limited production run as well. It wasn't super limited, but definitely not mass produced like these phones and stuff. So there aren't many of these around, because when these things break, it's kind of contrary to like what Nokia is known for, because Nokias are known to be really hardy and easily repairable. This thing does not break easily, but when it does break, I've seen a few articles saying that this phone cannot be easily repaired. So I gotta find myself a broken one and test that theory out, but I don't have my hands on a broken one. This one works fine. We gotta test and see how far that theory goes. I've seen a lot of reviews saying once this phone breaks, it cannot be repaired easily. That's why there aren't many of them out there. And on top of that, it wasn't manufactured in mass numbers. But anyway, yeah, it feels really good in the hand. It's solidly built, a solidly built phone. Probably the best built phone of the early 2000s. No questions there. A really solidly built phone. The antenna feels a bit cheap. That's why probably it fell off. But everything else about this phone screams premium. So now let's jump into some technical specifications about this phone. So to start things off, we'll go over the display first. So the display is of course a monochrome graphic display. As you can see here, we have just the 5-line resolution. They call it 5 lines. It's not technically resolution either. It's just 5-line display. It's got the dynamic font size, so you can definitely change font size. So that was a feature back in the day. Some phones you couldn't change the font size. They didn't have the dynamic font size, so that's good. Now moving on to the memory, and one thing I gotta mention about the display, even without the backlighting, something great about these old displays was you could basically see them in direct sunlight. You didn't really need the backlighting at all. You can see the display in direct sunlight. You needed the backlighting at night, because as you can see, then only can you not see it. But under direct sunlight, you could easily see this. And if you used one of these old monochrome display phones, you'd know that. So that was a big plus point with these old monochrome displays. Now moving on to the other technical specification, we'll just talk about the storage. It's not really storage, it's just call records. So it had 250 entries in the phone book, 10 dialed numbers, 10 received numbers, 10 missed calls, and it has memory for 8 voice dialed numbers as well. So 8 voice dialed numbers, 10 dialed, 10 received, 10 missed calls, and a phone book of 250 entries. It also has 50 calendar notes, so you can add 50 calendar notes to the calendar. Obviously, it had no memory card and stuff like that. You can download some ringtones as well. You can transfer them, I guess, to the receiver and stuff. Downloadable monophonic ringtones. And it has space for 5 received ringtones as well. No Wi-Fi, nothing of the sort. No Bluetooth, GPS, nothing. Radio, nope, nothing of the sort. But like I said earlier, it does have the infrared port, as you can see there. That was really useful to transfer contacts and business cards and play Snake, and of course connected to a printer and an older PC that supported the IR receiver or transmitter. So picture messaging, it had through text and predictive text input, smart messaging. It also had an organizer, which I cannot really find. It's probably somewhere in the menu here. There's an organizer of some sort. I didn't really go to detail. We'll go into the menu itself in a bit, but it does have an organizer, and it has, like I said, the feature that they keep repeating on a lot of these tech specs is the infrared transfer of names and phone numbers. So it also has that. Alright, I almost forgot to include the dock that I mentioned earlier. So here it is. This is the Nokia 8890 or 8850 dock, as you can see there. It also came in the same port slot, just the charger was missing, but you can plug the standard charger anyway. As you can see there, you can plug it to the wall outlet and you can charge the phone from it, and the phone just sits like that on the charger. As you can see there, it sits and it can be left on a table like that. I cannot confirm if the charger came, if the dock came in the box with the phone or not. I couldn't find any unboxing videos, but I think it did come in the box with the phone itself. Let me know down in the comments if you actually own one of these, and when you unboxed it back 20 years ago, did this come in the box with it, either an 8850 or an 8890? but as you can see, it sits nice and snug in its dock, and you can use it to charge it. Just use it to charge it. Obviously you can't play music or anything. It's just, it looks nice like that. Just picture yourself in 2001 or in 1999 or 2000 or 2001 with this thing, just this sleek thing just sitting there charging near your bedside table. That is really impressive for the time, and it doesn't really fit other phones as well. As you can see there, it doesn't really fit other phones. Well, this sort of it does, but it kind of wobbles to the side, and the color also matches. So yeah, that is the dock accessory for the 8890 or 8850. Not sure if it came in the box or it's something that you had to buy separately, but definitely a very nice thing that was included in that lot, which is also very rare. You cannot find the originals. There are a lot of fakes, but the originals like this one are really rare and cannot be found easily. So a good addition for that $60. And of course, no Nokia review is complete without a demo of all the ringtones. Well, I'll do some of the ringtones, the most popular ones, because there's a lot on this phone. And I definitely should have done it on this phone's review as well, but I kind of forgot there, but here they are. So max volume. So we have 10 volume levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 levels of volume. Let's go into profiles. And we can customize. So we have ringing options over there. Let's go to ringtones. We have the Nokia tone. Let's start off with the Nokia tone. So those are just some of the ringtones that you may remember if you had one of these phones, or any Nokia phone for that matter. Alright, so now let's jump into the interface and I'll show you around the menu and stuff. So up front here we have your classical Nokia interface. You press the power button to switch between profiles. The previous user has added Learn and La La Land. I guess he's made his custom profiles, whatever. And it shows here which profile is selected. We have menu and we have names over there. Select menu, we have messages, call log, profiles, settings, forwarding, games, calculator, calendar, and infrared. It's usually just 8, but because of the infrared feature, it has 9 on the menu. This is your old school Nokia interface. A lot of people call this Symbian. This is not Symbian. This thing really has no name. It's just a basic interface. I think Nokia probably had some sort of name for it. If I do find it, I'll put it up here, but I highly doubt this thing even has a name. It's probably a code or something. I don't really think there's a name for this. Games, again, you saw that freak out a bit. Games, we have memory, snake, logic, rotation, memory, snake. Okay, there we go. So memory, snake, logic, and rotation. You notice that the display sometimes freaks out there. I may have to clean the contacts on the display, considering this thing's old. There may be dust on the contacts. So yeah, so let's go into snake here, and I'll definitely do 2-player when I find the battery for that. I'll do it at the end of this video. I'll have it segmented in the slider below, but we have, let's reduce the level. Yeah, that the previous owner has really gone over with the level there. I was good at snake, but I do not have the reaction time anymore. So we have 2, I think it's 2, 4, 8. Yeah, it's 2, 4, 8, and 6. So The 33, see, the thing with the 3310 or the 3390 is you could play with these buttons. You can actually play with these buttons over here. So you can't do it with this. Or is there a setting? Maybe you could. I don't know. But yeah, you get the gist. That is Snake. But anyway, that was the interface. Everything else, now the infrared, as you can see, you can turn it on or off. It mentions it over here. And yeah, so let's go ahead and try and get Snake multiplayer or 2-player running. I'll go find a battery for this and be right back. Alright, so I tried a couple of batteries out on this thing, but none of the, what are those things called? Nope, that's not the one. Hold up, I put them away. None of the BLB-2s or the, what is this? BLB, oh, that's a BLB-2 as well. And none of those batteries would work. So there's no way I can power the two of them on at the same time, which is kind of a bummer. And icing on the cake, I have only one voice stream SIM card there. So yeah, I don't think these phones like the other SIM cards as I remember. So multiplayer or 2-player Snake is for a different video. Unfortunately, this one is a BLD3. This is not exactly the battery this phone uses. As you can see, you can't take it off, but it is what it is. There's no way we can get around that, but for now, we'll just go ahead and go into battery and power. We'll talk about the battery and power on this phone. So like I showed you earlier, BLB-2, the original battery for this phone, is the BLB-2, but these batteries are completely fried. The BLD-3 also works, but it's a bit hard to take out, as you can see. Take the battery out. So this thing, as you can see, it's made in Japan. So this battery is manufactured in Japan. So the milliamp hours of this battery, it's not ideal to talk about it because it's not the original battery from this phone, but this thing is around 790, 800-ish. But the original battery, the BLB-2, it is a 830 milliamp hour battery, so a bit more than that. 830 milliamp hour battery, BLB-2. It has a standby time of around 150 hours, but again, like I mentioned in that video as well, in this phone's video, it could be more because there was no proper way to get numbers at the time, and the reviews done at the time were not really accurate. It was the early 2000s, so those numbers could vary. I could easily assume a standby time of around 300 to 350 hours easily. It's a Nokia. These batteries last for basically forever. The talk time on this thing is about 2 hours to 3.5 hours, it says on multiple websites. But then again, this could be wrong. It could be easily well into the 5 hours or maybe even 6 hour mark. 2 to 3 hours sounds really off for a Nokia battery. So maybe around the 5 to 6 hour mark, based on what I've seen with these phones, the Nokia 3310, etc., etc. 2 to 3 hours is just an insult. That's actually bad battery life for a phone from the early 2000s because these batteries lasted for a very long time. So I'd say about 5 to 6 hours. But yeah, this battery, the performance will be a bit less, but should be identical. So here's the battery bay of the phone. So as you can see, it says made in Korea over there. So made in Korea. All the 90 variants, 3390, the 8290, and the 8890, as you can see here. All the 90 variants were made either in Korea or in Brazil. So either in Korea or Brazil. This one is made in Korea, type NSB6NY, model 8890, as you can see there. I've covered up the IMEI, and we have a bunch of FCC ID and stuff like that. Canada as well, Canada, some sort of number for something. So yeah, that was the battery bay and the battery performance itself. Let's go put the case back on. And it slides on like this. Really satisfying slide. Let me stop talking. Bring it closer. Do that again. So really high quality, really satisfying. Oop, my watch is going off. Really high quality, really satisfying slide there. Let's turn on the phone again. So apart from that, there's nothing else I can do. It's kind of sad that I can't show you the infrared Snake game, which is kind of a bummer. But these phones, that's all they could do at the time. There's nothing much else they could do. Now this one is having a bit of a time turning on. There we go. kind of had a bit of trouble turning on there because the battery has gotten a bit weak throughout this video. The battery, even that battery is really weak, so it does have trouble turning on. We plugged it to the charger here. So what was I saying? So yeah, a really solidly built phone. That was its main selling point, and there aren't many of these around. So if you do have one of these, hold on to it. They're worth a lot of money, and if you can get one for below $100, that's a solid deal. I got this for like $6 or $7 if you do the math divided by 60. So that is probably the best deal that I ever got on a vintage phone. But yeah, there's nothing else to cover. Kind of a bummer again that I couldn't show you multiplayer Snake, but I'll definitely get another battery and another voice stream sim so I can get this phone working as well, and we can play multiplayer Snake or two-player Snake. But yeah, so we've come to the end of this video, and as usual, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you honestly did, don't forget to leave a like down below on the like button and hit that subscribe button as well, and also hit that bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm on Instagram, Discord, and Twitter, and you can follow me on those using the links down in the description below. Thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.